Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Average Jose's Sports Talk.
Sports Talk.
I'm your host, Jeremiah.
And I'm the other guy, Cullen. Whoop, whoop.
And we had a pretty good weekend in sports. I mean, the Broncos and Bears both get some wins. The Ducks got a win as well. The University of Wyoming, they
played football. They played a game. They
tried to play some football. And there's some decent college games. Some insane records were being set, especially in that LSU game, which I am excited to talk about. But before we get into all of this sports talk, we have to start with a quiz bowl. Quiz bowl.
Oh, you're back. You froze for like a hot 10 seconds.
You're frozen too, so I was like...
It's like, what? Is it just chalk?
That's cool. Anyways, we got to start off with a quiz bowl. I believe that I asked last time. We never remember. Feel free to call us out on it, but you go ahead start. Let me hear you. You go start.
I go ahead start. Oh, it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't clown you. I don't. All of these are like very not common knowledge, so I will take like a couple answers. Not like you get to guess multiple times.
What is
like,
Josh Allen's favorite movie?
Exactly. As far as I know, this is the only time this has happened. When was the last no punt game in the NFL? They did not punt one time. Game ended without a single punt.
I feel like it was like within the last couple of years, because
if you can tell me the year,
I feel like I remember them talking about this game.
One of the teams I was in it, if not both, I will give it to you.
Was it last year?
It was not even close to last year, actually.
Oh, really? It was a while ago? Jeez.
Yeah, you're about 30 years off. It was 1992.
92. Okay.
September 13th.
Were the Rams in there?
They were not.
Dang, I was wondering because I think the Rams were the greatest show on turf, but that might have been early 2000s. Yeah, I have no idea. That's crazy though. 92.
It was the Steve Young 49ers and the Jim Kelly Bills. It was a 34-31 game. The punters kept warming up. They said, you just do your normal routine, get ready, and hope they make a first down. And they said, I guess I'm not going to punt today. They either got field goals, touchdowns, or turnovers on every drive.
That's actually insane. That's so weird that 92 is the last time that happened, though. I feel like
pretty sure it's the only time. I don't know if
really. I feel like when like the Brady Patriots were at their peak, they were running through. Oh, but the other team had to be able to. That's the hard part.
Both teams.
It's both teams. Yeah.
Both quarterbacks threw for over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns each, and the teams accounted for 1,086 yards of total offense.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's insane, dude. Wow. Good question. All right. My theme for this week is the Madden curse, because as some of you know, Josh Allen just lost to the Broncos, and I don't think we've seen such a bad Madden curse as we've seen for this season. So we are going to discuss the Madden curse and just Madden as a whole. So my first question is, when is it believed that the Madden curse started? Like, when did it originate? What game was it? You know, like
Madden 25.
I'll give you 2 guesses. That was one. Wasn't that one?
Wasn't 25?
You thought it was Madden 25? No, it was not Madden 25.
Well, because Madden 25 is actually like Madden 13 or something. Remember?
Right. They did like the 25-year anniversary.
Yeah, and then everyone was like, well, then what are you going to do for Madden 25? What are you going to name that?
We'll find out in a few years.
25 Part 2?
No, it was not Madden 25.
I'm assuming by year face. It's earlier than that.
It was earlier than that, yes.
2000 Madden 2006. Madden 06.
It was Madden 99.
I didn't even
So,
know Madden was back that long.
oh, Madden was even before then. So it's
That's
interesting
crazy.
because Madden 99 was when Garrison Hurst was on the cover.
Never even heard of him.
Played for the 49ers. He's a running back. He was the first ever cover athlete for the Madden. For Madden, it was always John Madden prior to that, so there's no athletes. And
so it literally started with the first.
It started with the first
guy.
athlete. The reason it's known as the Madden curse, why like this happened or whatever. So he was the cover, and then the following year he led his team to the playoffs. Pretty good season, right? They're in the playoffs, have a chance at the Super Bowl. Then he suffered a terrible broken ankle in the second game against the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so you're like, oh, dang, he got injured. They don't get a Super Bowl. Is that the curse? No, the curse is that post-surgery complications led to one of his foot bones dying, and he never played football again.
I didn't know a foot bone could die like that. I don't know how that works.
It says that early diagnosis showed that he might never return to the field again. He missed the following 2 seasons while recovering from his injury. I don't know if he ever came back, but he definitely was not the same ever again. That's
crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
His foot fell off one night while he was sleeping, and he did not play again.
Yeah, that's insane though. So Madden 99 is when the curse is believed to have started.
All right, so I was off a few years.
Give me the second one.
Oh, righty then. So, when is the last time there was an NFL game without a single flag thrown?
Jeez.
There were no penalties called during this game.
Well, I know the Raiders and Steelers weren't in that game.
I will give you it again if you guess the year, the teams.
Dude, I don't even know. No penalties? Had to be when like before the rules got super stickler on stuff, because like before now where it's like, oh, if you look at the quarterback wrong, that's like I feel like it'd be impossible to get no penalties.
You argue your case to the ref, you're getting ejected.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be early 2000s. I could even see pre 2000. Let's go with 19. But I can feel it. No, it's got to be the last time. 2006.
Do you want to take a shot at a team instead?
Team wise, that's hard because it's like, yeah, like there's obviously some teams that are like more undisciplined than others, the Raiders, but like
then teams go up and down. So
teams go up and down, so it's a per game thing. Let's just say, Cardinals and Ravens. We're going 2 birds.
I don't think the Ravens were a team at the time of this.
Okay. I was like, it's got to be an older team probably, because it's probably going to be in the past.
Ravens are like 2000 or something. Ravens are a fairly new team.
Okay, Cardinals,
November
Bears.
10th. That is a good guess. Because these were like the only 2 teams at the time. Right. November 10th, 1940.
40? Oh my god.
Pre-merger. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was the Steelers.
Versus the Philadelphia. I guess I don't know if it was the Eagles. Yeah, Steelers and Eagles. 7-3. Steelers won.
With no penalties?
That's why it was so low. They weren't getting the yards to get downfield. So this was actually this ref's like second time having a 0 penalty game, because it happened 4 times. 1940 and pre-1940.
Dude was responsible for 2 of them.
Yeah. The Steelers, and it says he might have done it just to like save the crowd, because the Steelers and Eagles entered the game with a combined 1 win, and there was a crowd including 3,000 children that were admitted for free. It was also super rainy,
so they just trudged
back and forth in the rain and mud. And the only touchdown came from a third string halfback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Probably third string because everyone's getting hurt, but they're not calling the penalties.
So yeah, terrible game, but
That's crazy, dude. Wow.
I looked it up and I was like, I feel like we've had one recently, and then it was like 1940 was the last
1940.
one.
That's insane. Dang, that's a good one. All right. Next question.
Next one.
How many quarterbacks have been on the Madden cover? So there was one Madden year where it was like
Mahomes and
Brady. They both have also had their own separate games, so that's just counting as two because that's just two quarterbacks. Does that make sense?
I guess. I mean, I feel like it's cheating, but
So how many quarterbacks have been on the Madden cover? Not how many covers have had a quarterback, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure Josh Allen, obviously.
That's three.
Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. I know Lamar Jackson was on the cover. I think after his MVP season.
Yeah.
I want to say Brett Favre was on the cover of.
Brett Favre was on the cover.
9.
Yep.
I think there was one on the cover of 6.
I feel like there might have been. You gotta think. What's the quarterback that you mentioned a few weeks ago in your questions? What was it? It was that's beaten every team or whatever, played every team.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is on there. That's 6.
Peyton Manning. I don't feel like Peyton Manning had one. I know the Madden 25 was a running back. I want to say it was Adrian Peterson.
I think it was Brown, wasn't it? Antonio Brown had a cover. Oh, yeah, Adrian Peterson and Barry Sanders. They did the special edition.
I'm going to say 9 total.
You're off by 1. It's 10.
I almost said 10, but I was like, that feels too on the nose.
It was 10 exact.
No.
So it was those 6.
I was going to say 10.
And then Vince Young had one after his rookie year with the Titans. So a rookie got it, which is kind of crazy.
Lamar Jackson's was a rookie.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb with the Eagles. They went 13 and 12 or 13 and 2. 13 and 12. They actually extended this 13 and 2. Known for like his insane QB vision.
Yeah.
Michael Vick had a cover.
That's right, the Michael Vick cover.
Back in 04. And then Dante Culpepper had a cover as well. Vikings Dante Culpepper 2002. After they went 11-5, and he threw for almost 4,000 yards with 33 touchdowns.
It was so close. I was like, I feel like there were at least a little handful.
But then following that, his Madden cover year, he blew out his knee.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Madden curse is real.
It's insane. So I think Michael Vick's might be one of the worst with all the dog stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 10. There have been 10 quarterbacks, which is honestly kind of crazy knowing how many like MVPs and Heisman typically go towards quarterbacks. But like the Madden cover is a lot of like defensive and like specialty players, like a lot of running backs and a lot of receivers because you had like Larry Fitzgerald, Odell, Calvin Johnson, more than like you would think for like something like this. It's definitely been a lot more quarterbacks because I think Josh Allen is the 5th quarterback in the last 6 years for like Madden. So it's been a lot more quarterbacks lately, but I feel like that's what everyone watches nowadays when they're watching football is they care. You don't have like your Barry Sanders or your Calvin Johnsons like having insane games where everyone's just, I want to watch this, you know? You show up and you're like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes. That's who we're here to see. Like, so kind of crazy.
I actually just watch the hot dog vendors in the stands. That's what I keep my eyes focused on.
Yeah, and I want to say in about counting when they started doing athletes, say about 24, 25 years of Madden, only 10 of those, I guess 11 because the dual cover, have been quarterbacks. So.
Well, no, because you said they only counted as 1.
Right, but so there's 10 quarterbacks and then 11 covers with quarterbacks.
Got you.
Yep. All right, give me your last one. I still need to get a point.
Ooh. Who? Okay,
Me.
that's who I was gonna say.
Yes. Who
Who holds the
sucks at
record
this?
for the most touchdowns in a single game? So,
Hmm.
there's three people that are tied for it. I'll give it to
Oh,
you if you guess any of them. They have the most total touchdowns by themselves in one game.
it's gotta be by themselves. So it's gotta be like a running back, I'm guessing.
I will say that passing does not count.
Yeah, like a passing touchdown doesn't, because you're throwing to someone else. So if passing doesn't count, then it can't be a receiver either, because that's a passing touchdown. I'm just kidding.
I was like, what?
I'm guessing it's got to be a running back because they're typically the ones getting the most. So let's go with Barry Sanders. Is he one? He's not one in there. Shoot, dude.
I'll tell you, I do not know the position of some of these people
I guess it could be a
or who these
tight
people are.
end. You don't know? Do you know all three? Do you know? You don't know
I know
any?
two of the three. I don't know who one of the guys is. His
Okay.
name sounds made up.
Okay, so it's a guy.
Believe it or not, it was not a woman.
Is Gronkowski one of them?
No.
Guessing Gronkowski. Give me one more guess. Let's go with me.
You?
No.
It was you.
Travis Kelce. I don't know, dude.
Wrong. It was Alvin Kamara.
Oh wow,
That was I want to say it was last year, the year before. I don't know.
wow.
I thought you would have got that one right away. He scored 6 touchdowns in one game.
I did not remember that. Holy cow.
Yeah, he was close to getting a seventh, which would have put him as the
Oh,
highest person.
that's
That was a
tough.
crazy game. Gale Sayers, who we had talked about last week, Hall of
Mm,
Famer for the
that's right for
Chicago
the
Bears.
Bears.
Dub Jones, DUB Jones.
Oh my
Sounds
gosh.
fake. I don't know what
That's
team he was
crazy.
on, what position he was, but he was good enough to get 6 touchdowns. So
That's crazy. No, I'm interested. That's wow. That's interesting. I forgot about the Alvin Kamara. Dub Jones. His position was halfback, defensive back, WB, and tailback. XWB. Born in 1924. His name was William Augustus Jones.
call him Dub because he got
They
wins.
called him Dub. Yeah, he was a halfback. He was a running back. So I was right. It had to be a running back, dude.
It didn't have to be. It just happened to be.
Goodness, he was 6'4" and 200 pounds.
Me for real.
His career, he played 114 games, ran 540 times for 2,210 yards and 21 touchdowns.
I don't know why I thought you said it ran 50 times. I was like, wow, almost half of his total carries for touchdown.
Ran 10 times and got 5,000 yards. Yeah, it's crazy though. Well, good for Dubby.
Dubby boy.
All right, let's wrap this up. I don't think anyone has a point, so we might just have to end the episode.
We should. I think it's been a good episode, full of like knowledge and stuff. Good historical facts.
Start doing fact stuff.
We already said that the Broncos won, Bears won,
Nothing else to
Oregon
say?
won. Like we're
Nothing
done.
else to say. All right. If you don't get this right, then we'll just end the episode. What year was the first time a cover had two athletes? All right, and that's the episode.
2019.
2010. Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald.
Wait, what was your question?
What year was the first time a cover had two athletes?
Oh my god, I heard quarterbacks. I was trying to think of the Mahomes Brady one.
Oh, you want to try guessing this then? You want another guess?
Yeah.
Okay. What year was the first time a cover had two athletes?
2010.
Ooh, can you name both the athletes?
Wait, Paul Amalo. And did you say Barry Sanders? I forgot the other guy.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Troy Polamalu? and Dub Jones.
Dub Jones, Dale Sayers.
Yeah, it was following the Steelers Cardinals Super Bowl, and because both teams like were phenomenal, and it was one of the best Super Bowls like in recent time. They're like, let's just give them both the the cover. So they both got it. For some reason, though, after in my notes I typed Troy Polamalu, it auto corrected to Troy Polonsky. So just be glad I didn't mispronounce that. You're just like, wait, who?
Oh, it was actually Troy Polonsky, idiot.
Yeah, Troy Polonsky and Dub Jones were actually the cover. You're just like, cool. I don't know either of those athletes. Oh my goodness. Is there a Troy Polonsky? No. If I Google Troy Polonsky, it takes me to Troy Polamalu, believe it or not.
Can you tell me who won the 2011 Super Bowl?
The following year? No, I can't. Can you? Is it the Bears?
Yeah, it's the first Super Bowl I watched, and it's the when I actually paid attention. When I started paying attention to football, it was the Packers versus Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers Cardinals one was the first one.
Rodgers.
Oh, is that his only chance at a Super Bowl?
It was his Super Bowl win.
I didn't know he had one. I always thought he didn't. Yeah, the Steelers Cardinals was the first one I actually watched, and I was like, "This is football. This is amazing.
This is amazing.
All right,
So freaking good.
this is amazing." Did you change his QBR? Why is it 159 now?
Who's QBR?
Josh Allen's. It says that he went 15 of 26 for 177 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a QBR of 159.
What is the highest? I don't know how cute, because they'll be like, this was a perfect
Yeah, it should be
QBR.
59. I don't know why
like
there's a 1.
130, and I'm like, how's 130.5 the highest?
All right, I'll just knock it out first since it's at the top here. Broncos versus Bills. Monday Night Football. Broncos won 24-22. I want to point out to every listener, if you remember last week, I called this win. It went a little different than I thought it was going to go. I knew that Broncos defense was going to be able to hold the Bills pretty well. I thought Broncos offense would step it up a little more. They
were you wrong?
Kind of did. I mean, if you look at Russell Wilson's stats, you would be like, he had an insane game. I mean,
That's what you would get from his stats.
I mean, he was 24 for 29. He had 5 incompletions after
He
attempting
only threw
29.
193 yards.
That part is kind of rough, but for 2 touchdowns, like he did get sacked 4 times. I think like 2 of those were in like the last like 20 seconds of the game.
Yeah, the ones that should have sealed the game, but the Bills just decided they hated themselves.
Yeah, so for those of you that didn't watch this game, it was the most insane ending. So the Bills score to take the lead 22-21. They kick off about a minute 10 left or whatever, Broncos possession. Broncos are moving it down the field fairly well. I mean, legit would be like 3rd and 10, and then they finally get a first down. And 3rd and 10, they get a first. Like, it was stressful. They get within field goal range on the opposite side of the 50, probably like around like the 40 or so. And then the Bills, realizing Russell Wilson just isn't that guy, sent a house blitz, and Wilson probably, had a stroke and died in that. Like, the dude freaked out, got crushed by like 6 dudes. They sack him. Smart play. Takes him back to, I think it's 3rd and 10 at this point. We're on the 50 outside of field goal range. So it's like, well, that's, great. So now they have to get this first down. Can't kick a field goal. Same thing. They send a house blitz, which worked the last time. So this time, Russell Wilson just lets out a war cry and throws the ball as far as he can. Thankfully, Jerry Jeudy is cooking it down the field. The issue is Jerry Jeudy's too fast for the ball, and it was a terrible pass. So he underthrew Jeudy, but because Jeudy turned and made a move towards the ball, and, the defender was trying to catch up to Jerry Jeudy, they collided, pass interference. Now the Broncos are on the 17-yard line. So insane play, moves us all the way up the field. Now we're in field goal range, first down. I want to say it's like 40 seconds left or something, 30 seconds left or something. The Broncos kneel it. I was like, why? Like, keep in mind, the reason we were in this predicament is because we missed an extra point earlier because they botched the snap and he like fumbled it as he's trying to sit it for the kicker. So as the kicker's coming to kick it, he Charlie Browns it and moves the ball out of the way at the last second, takes off running, and of course doesn't get a 2-point because this is the backup's backup holder. So they decide to kick a field goal. They get it down to like 15 seconds left, clock's going down. They kick a field goal and he misses.
Yeah, he did.
But just like in that Coke commercial, the announcers go, "Wait, there's a penalty on the play." The Bills had 12 men on the field because there was such a rush to get men out there for the field goal unit. They move the ball forward like 5 yards, kick another field goal, the Broncos win. It was insane, dude. Let me tell you. I had a parlay this weekend, and thankfully I had lost already because the Browns beat the Ravens and the Cardinals beat the Falcons. Those are the two things that broke my parlay. But if I had a full parlay going into this game and this is the win I needed, I had taken the Broncos on my parlay. I would have been sweating at the end there, dude. $1,000 on the line, and the Broncos decide to do all this, but it was an insane game. Josh Allen, 15 to 26, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He literally played like Russell Wilson. Like those are Russell Wilson's stats right there. So
It's Madden curse.
the whole
It was
thing
destined
about
to happen.
the whole thing about how he's playing like other quarterbacks is just insane, like crazy. But what do you think? You kind of caught the tail end of the game.
I actually didn't. The tail end is what I didn't catch. I just thought it was a sloppy game from everyone. I was like,
Yeah, it
oh,
was.
turnover, get 5 yards, punt it, turnover, miss a field goal, miss an extra point.
Yeah,
I was just like, this is an awful
it
game.
was
Like, I'm glad I'm not
bad.
watching it.
Yeah, it was bad. It was purely defensive.
Yeah, I think the Josh Allen stuff is crazy, and I hope that next year, since he's not on the Madden cover, he picks it up again.
What's insane is if they get into like the playoffs and are playing good teams, and he does play as good as their quarterback, like they could win a Super Bowl. It's just it looks bad right now.
Yeah.
So they play the Jets next week. So maybe the Jets will put in like a third string quarterback who's never played football before.
Like, okay, we know what this guy did. Sounds like, ball is big.
Josh Allen snaps it and then just punts it. Just like, what? He's like, Coach, they put a punter in at quarterback. I don't know what to do.
Coach, they put in the hot dog vendor. I just want to sell this ball with ketchup on it. I don't know.
Vendor takes some cash. They're just like, is he throwing the game? No, Rick, I believe he thinks he's a hot dog vendor. Gosh, yeah, I don't know, dude. Because they could still beat good teams. Oh, goodness. But breaking news, the Bills just fired their offensive coordinator. Let's talk about it. Go.
What?
We've never had this before. Like, this is crazy.
They needed to do it. I don't know what else to say. So what usually happens, I'll give you guys a little rundown. We record the entire episode the Tuesday after, obviously, because we want to make sure we get Monday night into the spread and everything. So we record Tuesday mornings. Usually right when we get off, I get a whole bunch of notifications.
Well, yeah, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz went to, where did he go? The Colts?
I thought he was already on the Colts.
Maybe he was on the Colts.
Because that was last week, wasn't it?
Last week you sent it to me, yeah, and it was like...
Yeah, last week, right after we got off, I'm eating lunch, and I get a thing on my phone that says, Carson Wentz is no longer with whatever team he's on. I was like, every time. It happens every Tuesday. So this time I checked during, and we just found out that the Bills' OC was fired.
Yeah, so that's actually... that's crazy, dude. I mean... Is it really his fault? Like,
there's also something that I'm just looking at. The Broncos holder is being called out for using a sticky substance during the game-winning field goal versus the Bills.
Interesting. I don't know how they noticed that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised since he botched the last hold.
It's right here on the back of his hand. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah,
That looks like it's
because that's kind of like what baseball players they have it like
yeah.
behind their ear and stuff. Wow, is that
So
illegal though? Like, I've
to
never heard
use a
anything.
sticky substance. Yeah.
I've never heard anything. I know for like receivers, you can't have it on like your gloves to catch with and stuff, right?
Right. I'm
Interesting.
assuming no one can use it because then that helps with like you holding the ball down.
Right.
So
I
if you
mean, I
can't
wouldn't.
hold the ball properly, then that's on you.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, since he botched that one hold and it almost cost him the game.
So yeah,
But
that's crazy.
oh yeah, there's the picture.
Glad
Wow.
I looked.
Yeah, for real. Huh. Anyways, Bears beat the Panthers.
So Wyoming lost.
You don't want to talk about the Bears win? It was a
You didn't even
disgusting
talk
game.
about Oregon.
I was just going in order. So
Okay, we can just go in order.
since we tied, I was like, let's just go in order.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Bears beat the Panthers. It was a disgusting game.
One touchdown, was it?
16-13. Um, Bagent was 20 of 33 for 162 yards. Didn't take a sack, surprisingly.
I
But
know
it
I
is
saw
the
that and I was like,
Panthers.
okay, good. That's a good Bears statistic is 0 sacks.
He had a worse QBR than Bryce Young. I'm assuming the completion percentage. No, because Bryce Young
No, Bryce
attempted
Young's was, yeah.
5 more with only 1 more. I'm assuming yards,
It's got to be yards.
but Bryce Young also got sacked 3 times, so I don't really understand. I don't really want to talk about it. It was a terrible game.
What's crazy is Bryce Young completed one more pass, and that one more pass gave him an extra 23 yards on Bagent.
I mean, it was probably more than just the one pass, but yeah.
Right,
I'm
but
pissed because I would have won like some money if Bryce Young had completed 2 more passes.
oh yeah, it was close.
He went into the half with like 5 completions or
It was,
something.
yeah.
So yeah, awful game. I don't really want to talk about it because it should have been a blowout, like 40-point
But
win.
hey,
But
Ravens, Bengals, and Chiefs, Eagles next week, so prime time's back.
I don't even know who to take on that one.
At least you got. At least you guys are looking good for first pick of the draft, though.
Yeah, Panthers are still 1 and something, so
Yeah.
we still should get there. I mean, we're getting there. So it should still be the number 1.
That is insane, though. I feel like I've never seen a situation like that where it's like we've got to beat this team so we can get their first pick of the draft. Like that's such a wild just situation they're in.
Well, everyone was like, "Well, it's a win-win either way," and I was like, "No, it's not because the Bears already have 2 wins."
The Bears are honestly
So if
they're
we
moving
let
down the list for yeah.
yeah, if we let the Panthers win, now we're tied at 2 wins each, which means and there are other teams at 2 wins. Like we
Right.
have to keep Panthers to 1 win at
So
least right now.
rather than being like the first and like fifth or sixth pick, you guys will all of a sudden be like the third and fourth pick or something.
Yeah, we'll both be higher up the list. I'm not concerned about losing like Caleb Williams or something. I don't want a QB.
You guys don't need a QB.
I'm concerned about losing Marvin Harrison Jr., which I feel like the Cardinals could take if Cardinals get a better draft.
Kyler Murray could definitely use him, yeah.
I'm hoping that our upper staff is smart enough to pick Marvin Harrison Jr. with the first pick rather than a quarterback.
Bro, we already know it's gonna be Alexander Allen.
That's fine. They can take Alexander Allen. I don't want him to be taken.
He's number 1 overall.
Also, I think his name is Aaron Allen. I don't
change it
want
every
him to
time.
be picked first. They can pick him whenever else they want, but if they don't get Marvin Harrison first, I'm afraid he's going to be taken like
Oh yeah,
second,
he's
third,
definitely
fourth.
a
Like
first 5 pick. Yeah,
he's so high up there on the a wide receiver is so high up there on the draft class. I need them to pick him first, or else the entire draft is just chalked.
well, and
and
what's
they should throw
interesting
it
is
out.
a lot of these teams who are looking at getting the top like couple picks kind of already have like their quarterback situation figured out. Like the Cardinals and Bears are the two that come to mind, but I feel like the Giants, like Daniel Jones, had a good season prior. Like they just got to figure something out with him. But I don't think they
I've
need to.
heard they're trying to find a QB.
Are they?
I've heard
Okay.
I've heard they're looking. I've heard Patriots are looking,
Patriots are definitely looking.
and
That's true.
they're
Who
2
else
and
is
8
on the
right now. I'm pretty
bottom right
sure.
now? The Jets might be looking, but who knows? Honestly, their
The
situation is
Jets are pretty
so.
high, honestly. I mean, not pretty high, but they're
Yeah,
four
I
and
guess they've gotten a
five.
few wins. Yeah,
Rams could possibly be looking for
Rams.
one, but they also
Stafford
are
might be on his
paying
way out.
Stafford quite a bit.
He might be
So
done
I don't
soon.
know
Though.
how long his deal is. But
Okay.
yeah, they're like the bottom teams are mainly looking for wide receivers right now. So
Yeah.
if the Bears don't get Marvin Harrison Jr., then just throw the rest of the draft out because it's over.
Except for Avery Allen.
Well, Wyoming played a game this weekend.
Did they play though? Like, just
Wyoming
looking
was
to
in
play.
a football game on Friday
Okay, there we go. They
against
showed up.
UNLV.
These stats are disgusting, dude. 11 to 22 for 144 yards and an interception.
Yeah, believe it or not, that was Wyoming's QB, not UNLV's. That was Andrew Peasley, 50% completion percentage,
We can
144
actually do the
yards,
percentage in our mind
interception.
this time. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's an exact half. The other guy, I don't know how to
I think
pronounce
it's
his name.
Mayava. Jaden over here.
Jaden, 17 to 24, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, QBR of 81.4. I don't think I said the score. It was 34 to 14.
Bro, he averaged about 14 yards per completion. That's insane.
Andrew Peasley barely got 14 yards, so yeah, it was a game.
He averaged 13 per completion.
Quarter one, it was 21 to 0.
Yeah, it was
UNLV obviously
UNLV
because
ran it up
Wyoming
quick.
didn't get it. But then quarter two, Wyoming had 14, driving down the field to get 21, tied up going into halftime. Like the momentum had changed, and then interception, of course. Went into half 21-14, Wyoming down, and then it just got away from us. We just didn't play quarters 3 and 4. Gave up like
I know.
usual.
My dad was like, I'm like hanging out in like the living room or something, and my dad would come in and be like, "UNLV's up 21-0. Oh, Wyoming scored 21-7. Oh, Wyoming got no touchdown 21-14. Right, it's halftime. I was like, that was the first half. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's insane though. That's another road loss. Like Wyoming can only win when they're in Laramie. It's insane.
Trying to find. Okay, Mountain West. Right now, I hate how they do standings on this
Mm-hmm.
because it shows
Air Force and UNLV are tied. I'm guessing.
8-2.
Definitely tied. Yeah, they're both 8-2 and 5-1 in the
And
conference.
Fresno State is 8-2.
Yeah, but Fresno State has that one extra conference loss. I think they take that into account.
Yeah, they account for conference because that's the factor.
Yeah, Wyoming is literally 6-4, 6 wins at home, 4 losses away.
Yeah, we are under the Boise State and who are the Spartans? San Jose
San Diego.
State.
I think it's San Diego State, isn't it?
San Jose. I just clicked on it.
Oh, okay.
We are under 2 teams that are 5-5 because they have better home records. Or
What's
not home
insane
records.
is
They have better conference records.
we have 2 games left for the season. One's home and one's away. So legit, we'll probably finish like 7-5 if we keep this up, which is not bad.
To play Hawaii, who I'm pretty sure just like destroyed. They didn't destroy, but they just beat Air Force 27-13.
Did they
and
really?
we did get destroyed by Air Force.
Yeah, our last 2 games are conference games, so we could finish 4-4 if we keep up the home and away stuff.
Yeah, every game after the first 4 is conference games. Mm-hmm. So after the first 4, you know that the rest are conference. But okay. It's just
Cowboys are getting a bowl game though. I mean, that's something.
Good thing is we're playing bowl eligible in Wyoming.
Right.
So,
and it'll be cold, hopefully.
and then we play Nevada, which Nevada isn't good.
Doing it.
If we lose to Nevada, that could be our only away win, unless we just really want to stick to that losing not at home. So
Yeah, that's been an interesting season for sure. I mean, the only reason they're getting a bowl game is because they have more home games than away games this season.
yeah,
It's the only reason. If
yeah.
they finished 7-5, it'd literally just be because they had more home games.
What's crazy is we could lose the last two and
We're
still
still
be.
bowl eligible, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Are they Friday
I'm
night
done
games
talking
again?
about that. So
Oregon beat USC 36-27. That game had me kind of nervous at the end there because USC was starting to come back. But Bo Nix went 23-31, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns again. This is the most consistent quarterback because I do these scripts most of the time, I'm always having to put in numbers. That is the one box I have left the same for most of this season. It has almost always been 4 touchdown games. It's insane.
I will say he finally had like good yardage for his
Pretty
completions.
decent yardage.
Usually you're
Typically,
like,
he's like
he
300
had
or
an
so.
insane game. And I'm like, he had 23 completions for 200 yards. Like, that's
He
not
does not
terrible,
do
but it's not
200
like,
yards. It's more like 300s. Let's pull him up. Let's pull him up. How's Bo doing on the season? He's only thrown 2 interceptions this season. That's kind of crazy.
that is actually insane.
Should I screen share a photo of him for you, just to ruin your day? Passing 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 5 games passing. He's thrown 412, 386, 248, 293. So 248. Okay, that's fair. 293 and then 337. So I mean, most of those are 300 or more.
There's just somewhere you're like, he had an insane game. And I'm like, yeah, he had 4 touchdowns. I'm not like trying to like bring that down. But
Yeah.
I always look at yardage. And I'm like, these are clearly all like screen passes that got a few yards.
Right.
Or just like short little throws. But no, 23 for 412 yards is insane. 4 touchdowns is great. Like you said, no interceptions. Caleb Williams is still trash. He still had good yards, though. I mean,
Still decent, yeah.
19 completions, almost 300 yards is crazy, but I hate Caleb Williams. So.
What's crazy is the 2 interceptions he's thrown are to Colorado and to California, and they won both those games. He threw none in the Washington loss. Yeah, I don't know. People keep talking about Bo Nix for Heisman, and obviously everyone in Oregon is, but he's right now he's 3,000 yards on the season, 29 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's 3rd for QBR, which is like terrible. But I don't know. I just feel like I just keep seeing more about Penix. Let me pull up Penix's stats. We have to check on these. It's been a while since we've looked at them.
Penix is like,
oh my gosh,
high above the competition.
It's not.
No, I pulled up the 2023 Heisman tracker.
Oh, is he pretty up there?
Yeah, the projection, I don't know, on week 4, he was at almost 75 voting points. The closest person was at like 37.
Oh yeah, it's
He had
back
almost
then.
double.
That's after he had a few like couple thousand.
Happened again week 7. He was at 75, and the closest person was at 30.
So what's interesting is Penix is now 5th for QBR. He has 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. First for QBR though right now in the league is Jaden Daniels for LSU after having probably the most insane game of his life of 700 yards.
Yeah, right now he's 2nd. So I don't know how like accurate this is or how they decide it, but for the ESPN 2023 Heisman tracker, Penix is at 61 points, Daniels is at 51 points, Marvin Harrison Jr. is at 41 points, and then Travis and Nix are both tied at 23.
Interesting. It's funny because some people keep talking about J.J. McCarthy from Michigan for Heisman. He's got like 1,000 less points and like 10 less touchdowns than the next couple people.
That's insane.
I will say McCarthy should be a Heisman contender. He's only played like the first half of every game because they're typically up by like 50 by the end of the third quarter, and so they just bench him. Like, he has not played a full game most of this season. I feel like if he had, dude, his stats would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's crazy, though. Good
What's
for
crazy, I'm
Jaden
pretty sure this is
Daniels.
still for Penix. Off of votes, week 1, he had 0 votes for first. Week
Mhm.
2, or week 0 and week 1, he had 0 for first. And then 2, 6, 14, 6, 10, 15, 4, 7.
Jeez.
So he started off and they're like, yeah, I mean, he's like 4th, 3rd for Heisman. Now they're like, he will be the Heisman winner.
He had a great like couple weeks back then, but lately he's been kind of struggling. Oh yeah, Penix is way above. But yeah, Daniels is starting to catch up there. This is a cool chart. I like it. It's crazy seeing Daniels hit legit nothing
He didn't
until
have,
like
he had 2 votes. He had 9 points week 0, 0 votes until week 6. Then 4 points, 25, 47, 51.
that's crazy, dude. Yeah, Penix just shot up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if they can keep it. I mean, Heisman voting should be soon. Okay, so you get 5 points for first place votes, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth. News around the world.
Round the world.
First up, we got number 2 Georgia played number 9 Ole Miss. Georgia won 52-17, dude. If you guys remember from like the start of like this season, we're big Georgia haters talking about
If
Georgia
you
hasn't
remember
played
last
anyone
week's
tough.
episode,
Georgia hasn't played anyone tough. They haven't had a challenge. And then each week we're like, oh, they're playing a top 10 team. Georgia's going to lose. And then Georgia puts up 50 points. Like they'll struggle against like Georgia Tech and like all these random schools. And then the second it's like a big team, they're like, oh, no, we're actually good. And so,
yeah, last week I said that this was like a challenge and
yeah,
I could
and
see it
it
being a
wasn't.
close game. I could see them losing. And then game day, I was like, oh, they're destroying guys. Actually, I'm not even a little
Yeah,
worried that they're going to lose.
Kendo Milton ran 9 times for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
And then Carson Beck went 18 to 25 for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So they're playing football. They are
yeah,
playing.
yeah, it was insane.
So yeah, Georgia's
Georgia,
still looking good.
yeah, maybe next week we'll see. We'll see who they play this week. It'll probably be like some random school and they'll win by like 2 points or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, Michigan beat number 10 Penn State. This was Michigan's first big challenge of the season, especially with Jim Harbaugh being missing from this game. They kicked him off the sidelines. I think Fridays when they're like having their big hearing on all that stuff with the Big Ten about everything. So we'll see if Jim Harbaugh is back for this weekend. He's still allowed to coach like during the week and stuff, but Michigan did win 24-15. They proved that they did need him on the sideline. What is kind of crazy, though, is J.J. McCarthy went 7 of 8 for 60 yards.
I remember I was at your house for that, I think. And I'm like, the things popped up on the screen, and I was like, and it was like, did not throw in the second half.
They didn't throw a single pass. The reason for all that was because the pass rush was like too good, I guess, in the first half. They didn't want to risk anything, so they just ran it. But I mean, what's insane though is they didn't pass at all, especially in the second half. And Blake Corum had 26 carries for only 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like you would have thought, like Blake Corum put up like 700 yards or something with the fact that they only used him. But Michigan was held to only 287 total yards. It was such a defensive game, which we expected coming from Penn State because Penn State's probably the top defense in the league right now this year. It was impressive that Michigan played fairly well defensively. Definitely showed a lot of chinks in the armor that Ohio State, I think, could take advantage of. And Penn State's not like a super good offense, and so
Their
when
defenses.
yeah, their defense is stellar, but when Michigan has to play a team like Ohio State, that could just be a 68 to 63 point game, be a Chargers type game. But yeah, and then another college one that happened this week. Number 19, LSU beat Florida 52-35. And this is the game where Jaden Daniels set a record as the first player to have over 350 passing yards and 200 rushing yards. More specifically, he was 17 of 26 for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then he also ran it 12 times for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. This man alone put up 700 yards for the team. 600.
600 yards for the team.
This man alone put up 600 yards for the team. LSU had 700 total yards as a team, which is just insane. Yeah, that's crazy. What's crazy too is like Florida, I think, put up like 500 yards or something. Like Florida had a good game. It's just that LSU decided to have the best game they could ever have.
I mean, it was high scoring, so like obviously very offensive on both sides. It's just crazy that, for one, it's crazy he only completed 17 passes, almost had 400
17
yards.
passes. That's the wild part, yeah.
And it's crazy he ran it 12 times and 230. Like,
how many
all
of those are
yards
like?
have
How many of
just
those
been
are like
90-yard runs?
sacks too, or something? Like a sack. I don't know if Florida got any sacks, but that would count as a run.
Yeah, that is true.
So, and that would take away from his total yardage on the rushing. But do you think we see anything from Jane Daniels like this again for the rest of the season, or do you think it was just a rivalry against Florida? Florida's defense wasn't having it. Like,
we'll probably never see that again in the history of football.
Yeah, that was insane, dude.
It's
crazy that
hard
that
part
game.
is I don't know if they count sacks. Okay, they do count sacks on. So Florida had 1 sack.
Okay, so 11 rushes for maybe a little of maybe 236 yards or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's crazy is Florida's quarterback still had a QBR of 110.
Yeah. No, they had a great game. It's just Jaden Daniels had a way better one.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I don't.
Yeah, it's
Jaden
crazy that
Daniels' longest was 85.
it's crazy that this game alone just elevated his Heisman status and probably moved him up in the draft projections if he goes for it.
Averaged almost 20 yards a carry.
That's crazy. Dang. Anyways, you want to talk about some of these NFL games?
Nope.
All right, so the Champions League.
Cardinals Falcons. Cardinals won. I'm not gonna lie. I did think they were gonna win. I don't.
I mean,
know if
Kyler Murray was
that.
back.
I think I might have said that they didn't last week. I don't remember.
You picked the Falcons. I believe. We both did. Yeah, we both.
But it was because COD came out.
That's why I picked the Falcons too.
But even after I said that, I was like, I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals are going to win. And they did. Kyler Murray threw 19 of 32, 249 yards and 1 interception.
Not the best stats.
Heineke and Ritter combined for 70 passing yards. So
worse stats.
That is worse.
Yeah, Falcons need to figure out their QB situation. Bad.
They need to figure out their QB situation. Cardinals need to figure out how to play. I need them to win a few more games so they don't get the first pick of the draft.
Do you think Murray hopped on Call of Duty and was like, yo, this is trash, and then actually played
go practice
football? Does that speak to how bad the new Call of Duty is, that Kyler Murray actually had a decent game following the release of a new Call of Duty?
I don't know. I feel like those are the stats we would see after Call of Duty. 19 of 32 is awful.
And keep in mind, too, this man hasn't played football this entire season.
That's true. I was expecting him to do a lot worse because he hasn't played in so long, but they won. The stats were decent. So, again, I just need them to
change
keep
it around.
Up.
Could change the season around. We'll see.
They do play the Bears this season, so
ooh,
I'm expecting the Bears to lose, and I need it.
Matchup. Could be a
That'll
decent
boost the
matchup.
Cardinals and drop the Bears. Texans versus Bengals.
That was a game, dude.
Texans won 30-27. I didn't see the whole game, but I was keeping track of it because I had a bet on the Bengals kicker. So I know
Nice.
he got at least 2 field goals. I think he got exactly 2 field goals. One was at the very end that I'm pretty sure tied it up with the Texans. And then the Texans scored a field goal at the very, very
to win
end
the game. Insane.
that won it, and apparently it won Florida better $5.5 million. So
same game parlay. I think that's like the biggest same game parlay payout ever. I think is why everyone was talking about it.
Stroud went 23 of 39, so not great. Did have 356 yards though, a touchdown, and I want to say his second interception of the entire season.
I think so, yeah.
Which is crazy because he's a rookie. So, reading those stats, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is probably like a veteran or someone who's been in for a while." Yeah. No.
Nah.
Burrow was 27 of 40, so attempted 1 more, completed 4 more, had less yards than Stroud. He only had 347.
1 extra touchdown.
He did have 1 extra touchdown, but also 1 extra interception.
Kind of
Burrow had as many interceptions in that one game as Stroud has his entire NFL career. So
that is crazy. No, that's a crazy game for the Bengals to lose. Like, they were on a good win streak. Texans just prove that they're a force to be reckoned with. Like, this was just such a statement game for both teams, I think. Like, yeah.
I see Texans being a top team. Like,
if people were doubting on Stroud before, dude, like, there's no way you can keep. And I got him as a free agent. That makes me so happy.
He's going to be on the cover of Madden this year.
Stop. I swear if he is, I'm dropping him right away.
Rookie QB who's having a great season.
He might. I could see it, dude. I could see it. That's the worst part. Oh. No, they're going to put Jason Kelsey on the cover. No, it's going to be Taylor Swift. It's going to be the first time it's a
non-football player.
Non-football player or coach is on the cover. Taylor Swift. You guys heard it here first. Oh, you know how like sometimes they release like 2 covers, like they do that for a lot of sports games? I wonder if they'll do a Taylor Swift cover.
Taylor's version?
Taylor's version. I could see it.
I could see it. Yeah, I hate you actually for saying that. Okay, this is your segment. I do want to start off though.
Can I do the intro?
Yeah.
In a world where the Dallas Cowboys disappoint, when will they do it again? I start. You said segment, so I felt like we had to do something
by saying in a world where they do disappoint. Like,
the
question is, when will they?
So when will it happen again? It's no longer a question of if they will. It's a question of when they will.
If you couldn't tell, this is the When Will the Cowboys Disappoint segment.
Game of the week this time.
But the Cowboys linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, I don't know. He will be missing the remainder of the season. He went out week 5. Nope. He went out week 5 against the San Francisco 49ers with a neck injury. He does have a condition called cervical spinal stenosis, which is the narrowing of the spinal column in the neck specifically. He underwent surgery in early 2020. He signed a 2-year contract extension.
It's always the young ones.
Stop talking. We don't even know how old he is. He signed a 2-year extension this offseason.
Dang.
But it is looking like his career could be over.
You gotta stop at that point. Like, there's why would you keep risking it?
Right. He had an injury in 2019, which is when he got diagnosed, and then had the surgery 2020. Now he's injured again, is out for the remainder of this season.
Yeah,
it says his career could be in jeopardy. I feel like you should stop risking it at that point. Like, Just accept that your time is over. I know he wants to play. I know he's a good player. I've heard his name multiple times, but
especially as a
you just
defensive
have
player.
to.
As a defensive player, dude, that's such a risk because you're legit making hits.
Yeah, you're
it's your job to
leading
hit.
with your. I mean, you shouldn't be.
You're
leading
supposed
with
to
your
put your head down and hit him as hard as you can.
We see a lot of tackles where they're hitting with head and neck. So, at the end of the day, I feel like you just have to call it, say that you had a good run, but your time is done in the NFL.
Take that extension money, baby. That's free money right there. If it's guaranteed, it's guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know what's guaranteed. That's why I avoided saying that.
Anyways, moving on. The Cowboys played the Gaints this week. That's what it says in the script.
I see that. Yeah, I was like, why did he say Gains?
Cowboys won 49-17, which is just a little different than your prediction. If you remember, you said the Giants would win like 29-19. I think we put it in the table at the bottom.
That's right.
21-19. You said 21-19.
I forgot that was the game that I.
21-19.
I don't know why I said that. I knew the Giants were losing, but I was like, I said it. I gotta commit.
Hot take.
I committed. I had to.
Yeah. Cowboys had a decent game. I mean, Dak was 26-35 for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns with only 1 interception. We need to do a stat tracker on his over under of 11 interceptions for the season, because it wasn't. He was like, I'm not throwing 11 interceptions this season or something like that. And everyone's like,
5.
Maybe it was 5. Then he's way over that at this point.
10, but let's see.
And then Saquon Barkley only had 13 carries for 66 yards. So I don't know if like Saquon's been hurt or if they're just not utilizing him, but he has had a terrible season. Cowboys are currently 6-3, looking fairly well. I mean, like we said last week, they're in the middle of that stretch where they've got to kind of win these games, because after this, they're in a just rough 4 weeks. Panthers are coming up next. That'll be a huge game for you Bears fans, because if the Panthers go down, that's just one more loss closer to the first pick.
Sir.
And then they got Commanders, which Sam Howell has
insane,
doing insane on fantasy, but nothing too special like in the actual.
No, I'm pretty sure he's number 2 for passing yards and touchdowns.
Is he? One thing I saw was he was like the best fantasy quarterback in the league, but not even close in like the real league. But maybe, I don't know. But and then Seahawks after that, which we said the Seahawks could be an easy game for the Cowboys. Geno Smith is looking like he's back now. So that one's up in the air a little bit, but I mean, if the Cowboys can go 8-3 going into these last 5 games, that could put them in a really good spot for wild card at least. Because I mean, 8-3 with 5 games left, they could finish 8-8, and that's definitely a wild card position. So they have a chance, you know. But we'll see. We'll see what the Cowboys do. We'll see if Cowboys fans are going to have a good offseason or not.
I looked it up. Dak said 10. He's quoted as saying 10. He will not throw 10 interceptions.
What's he at now?
I don't know. I started looking up Sam Howell, Dak. 5.
Is that 5?
I believe
it's not bad.
That was 6. My bad. He's at 6 interceptions.
6. So if he throws an interception in any of those, if he throws 1 interception in each of those 5 games, then he's over.
Yeah. So he just needs to. Well, he said he wouldn't have 10. I think.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't have 10. So it's got to be under 10.
Yeah, so he's only allowed to throw 3 more interceptions
for the rest of the season. And if they get playoffs, that's tough. Champions League match day 4 happened last week, and Bayern, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, Manchester City, all are still leading their groups. What's kind of crazy is Manchester United has only won 1 of their 4 games so far. Yeah. There's 2 more match days left, and then we will have a good look at what the bracket looks like and everything. I think there's a bracket for Champions League.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah, can you move on from this? I don't really know much about Champions League.
You are older than Sam Howell.
How old is Sam Howell?
23, but he was born September 16th of 2000.
We would have been in the same grade. That's crazy. Maybe one below me because September.
Yeah, because it's a September birthday.
That's actually crazy, dude. Wow. Huh.
What
That
are you
puts it in
doing?
perspective. Yeah. NBA. NBA's happening.
Do you want to keep talking about it?
NBA in the West, the Nuggets. If you remember last week, the Nuggets were like leading by like a fair margin, but now they're tied with the Mavericks, 8-2. So the Mavs are starting to have a good season. Lakers are 5-5 for our weekly We Hate LeBron tracker.
For our weekly, I hate that, man.
In the East, the Sixers are now leading at 8-1, with the Celtics right behind at 8-2. So there's kind of a weird game disparity there, but pretty impressive. As for the in-season tournament, the Jazz, Nuggets, Sixers, and Celtics all lead their groups, and we just have a couple more weeks left before the tournament itself kicks off on December 4th.
Start of tournament part. What does that mean?
So, like, the tournament part starts, like the actual bracket.
Gotcha.
Thanks. And as for hockey, because baseball's over, we're throwing some hockey in the mix for you guys because we enjoy it too. So as for hockey, the Bruins are 11-1 and the Rangers are 11-2 to start the season, and they're both leading their divisions in the East. With the
Stars,
Stars,
they've already played that many games. It doesn't feel like they've played that many.
Not watch any hockey. I need to get on it. It's like basketball, dude. They play so many games. With the Stars 10-3 and Golden Knights 12-2 leading their divisions in the West, the Avs are 8-4 and second in the Central Division in the West, so they're kind of keeping it close.
It should be so much closer. They started like 6-0 or something first in the Central West, and now they're 8-4. Like,
yeah,
I've been paying attention to their games, and they just like dropped off.
The Knights won the Stanley Cup last season, right? I believe it was Vegas that won.
No, Avs won.
Avs won? No, I thought the Avs. You sure?
No, because it was Avs and Nuggets that won. So it was like the Broncos were the only disappointing team in Colorado.
No, but it was. Yeah, it was. The Avs won the year before, but 2023 Stanley Cup was Golden Knights versus Florida Panthers.
Could have swore it was
because
the Avs.
What it was 2022 Avs won the Stanley Cup, 2023 Nuggets won the championship, 2024 Broncos are winning the Super Bowl. That's what everyone was saying.
I don't think anyone said that.
I said that. Me. But that's what everyone was saying. Was they like, oh, the Avs won, the Nuggets won, now it's time for the Broncos or Rockies to get a championship this year, and both teams are struggling.
Yeah.
That would be actually insane if the Broncos came back and won the Super Bowl this year to make that happen. Oh, goodness.
It's insane that it wouldn't happen.
Thanks. So
college lie to you?
College conference championships are starting to get figured out a little bit now that we're getting later in the season. The SEC championship has been set with Georgia playing, drumroll please. Didn't really hear it. Alabama!
That's cool.
It sounded like you were typing on a keyboard. Georgia plays Alabama for the SEC championship. A good little rematch here, December 2nd. See, I shouldn't say that. It's not a good little rematch. It's the annual Georgia-Alabama SEC championship is what it is.
See, what I meant to say was the thing that happens every year.
At this point, it's just those two. So, and then Florida State has been confirmed for the ACC championship, which is also December 2nd. Their opponent is to be determined still because no one else is that good. But I thought we'd just take a quick look at like some of the other divisions to see like, or conferences to see how people are lining up and maybe like who could be in there. So for the Pac-12, obviously Washington's, they're 10-0, but 7-0 in conference. Oregon's right behind them, 6-1 in conference, and then Oregon State's behind them, 5-2, tied with Arizona. I'm guessing we're going to see an Oregon-Washington conference championship, which I think could be a good
Yeah.
rematch.
It'll be a rematch for sure.
Nice. The Sun Belt in the East. James Madison is 6-0, so they'll probably take it. Yeah, I don't really care. Mountain West, you think it's just gonna be Air Force UNLV?
It'll probably be Wyoming. I've heard that it's gonna be Wyoming. I heard it.
Air Force would have to lose their next, or I guess UNLV. No, because both these teams beat Wyoming. So I mean, even if Wyoming wins these 2 games and tie them on their conference record, it doesn't matter.
Don't say it.
It's real.
Just let me have it. I don't know why you're being mean. Like,
real to me.
I just believe in the boy, okay?
Big Ten right now. Big Ten East is a battle between Ohio State and Michigan for their spot, and then whoever wins that's probably going to win the championship. Because Big Ten West, Iowa leads at 5-2, and then right behind them is Nebraska, Northwestern, Wisconsin, and Illinois, and Minnesota at 3-4. So I think that pretty. Big 12. Texas is 6-1. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and Iowa State and Kansas State are all 5-2 in conference. So
trash.
That one's kind of up in the air still. Like I said, ACC, Florida State's leading that. Louisville's probably going to be their opponent. Louisville's 6-1 with the next teams being 4-2. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next week in sports.
Oh yeah, I forgot we didn't do that.
Yeah, we still gotta do that.
I was ready for hot takes.
Right, me too. We don't really have too many exciting college games. We got number 2 Georgia playing number 13 Tennessee. Georgia's gonna struggle. Georgia's gonna lose. Here's a big game. Georgia's gonna win by 50. It's a 10-point spread, but I think Georgia covers it after everything they've been doing. Then I put this one because it's kind of surprising. Number 5 Washington plays number 12 Oregon State with only a 1-point spread. They're giving Oregon State a lot of weight behind this game, so I think that'll be interesting to see.
Because Oregon State is the best team in the league.
Wow. Okay. Do you want to talk about these NFL games though?
Bengals versus Ravens. That'll be a hard one to call, especially because the Ravens just lost to the Browns, but the Bengals also just lost to the Texans, which they're not a bad team. Neither team is a bad team. It's just like they both just lost, and I thought both teams were like really good teams. I don't know.
It's going to come down to who can recover from that loss the best,
Yeah, and I feel like the Ravens do have a better chance at winning. I feel like the Ravens are the better team
That's what
out
I
of
was
the two.
thinking. Yeah.
But
it'll be such a good Thursday game.
It'll be an up and down. Well, it's still a prime time, so it'll probably be like 10-7.
I hope it is. I hope it is after everyone's like, man, get these trash Broncos and Bears off my screen. These low-scoring games. We're excited for this week. I hope it's a 7-3 type game.
What I've learned is it doesn't matter who the teams are.
Primetime's always prime time.
It matters that it's a primetime game.
Yep.
Lions versus Bears. I honestly
could be a good
I don't
game.
think the Bears are going to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to pick them in our pick'ems, but I don't think they'll win. I do think if Fields is back, it'll be a good test, but it's not even confirmed that he's back yet. The earliest we'll find out is tomorrow.
That's crazy.
So we'll see if he's back. I think it'll be a good test. Lions have an insane offensive line, though.
Yeah, that one. You said a video where they just pushed the entire Chargers.
Yeah, it's not even fair.
Yeah.
I do think the Bears will lose, but hopefully it'll be a good showing. I don't want the Bears to win.
Big division game.
The Bears' season is over. I don't want them to win.
They could take the division with this win.
I want them to tank so that way we can get a good draft pick. Jets versus Bills. You wrote redemption
for Josh Allen because this was the first game of the season. Remember, this is the first game of the season with Josh Allen threw 3 interceptions to 1.
I didn't know if redemption was because they played the first game or because of yesterday.
And Aaron Rodgers is coming back. We have an exclusive interview with Aaron Rodgers. Welcome to the show, Aaron.
He gets on. I saw an alien.
In high school, we went alien hunting. And we caught him and dressed him up to look like E.T. And then it was like, hoping you talk about football, but thank you, Aaron. Moving on.
We were hoping you would talk about your return, but that's cool too. I mean, if we do want to talk about it, Aaron Rodgers did say that he's looking to come back like middle of December or
That's
early
crazy.
December, which is crazy. But
which means the Jets really have to just be holding on to playoff hopes until he gets there. Like they've got to keep them right in there so that he can show up and actually get them a playoff run.
Yeah.
Could you imagine comes back and first snap just snaps his Achilles? Oh my god!
It's not even a play for him. It's a running. He's handing the ball off, tweaks it,
like,
and just pops.
I don't like not to laugh at his misfortune, but that would be the funniest like set of circumstances ever.
Bro rushes an Achilles and then comes back and destroys it.
His foot's just gone.
What sucks is I have the Jets defense and the Bengals defense.
Ooh.
I don't know who to play. I'm taking
defense.
Jets versus Bills.
Take
but
the Jets. Yeah.
It'll be tough both ways. And then Monday night, another great primetime matchup that should be a 10-7 game. Eagles Chiefs. ESPN has the Chiefs as a 3-point favorite.
Eagles are taking that game, bro.
Both teams coming off of byes. Jalen Hurts did say that the bye couldn't come at a better time because he needs rest. I guess he like tweaked his knee or something. I think it'll be a good game. I honestly do think it'll be low scoring.
I don't know why. I feel like it's always good when these two teams play.
It's like I said.
I feel like there's been like a really big game between these teams in the past.
Yeah, I feel like there was a big one that got me like $75 because
off
there was
a
an
squid bet.
Octopus 8. But yeah, I honestly feel it's going to be a low scoring game.
I could see it.
Two teams are tired.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, so some games for you guys to look out for. But we're moving on to some hot takes. Hot takes. And we got some good ones this week. As always, feel free to drop it in the comment section. Some of your own hot takes. We'd love to discuss them and tell you guys how wrong you are. Why?
I did it last week after I said before I said hot cakes.
First up, do we think that Kyler Murray has proven that he is the Cardinals' franchise quarterback to build around?
Yeah, because he won one game by 2 points, didn't have a touchdown, threw an interception, barely had a 50% completion percentage. I think he's insane. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
I don't think this is too far off to say, just because Cardinals have been struggling. And then the second he comes back, they win against a stud Falcons offense who can't figure out who their starting quarterback is.
You say stud Falcons offense?
Yeah, but no, I mean like they came back. Cardinals looked like more of a team. I think Kyler Murray's someone they could build around for sure. I mean that's what a franchise quarterback is who you're going to have as your cornerstone for your offense. I don't think he's ever going to reach the levels of like Russell Wilson.
I think
he's John Elway or like Peyton Manning or Drew Lock.
Oh, we're naming bad quarterbacks.
But I do think that he's someone that they can build around, and he's consistent. Whether that consistency's good or not, but I can see it.
Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's I think he should stay on the Cardinals, and they should just build around him. I don't know if that's hot.
Bring Larry Fitzgerald out of retirement.
True. Have you ever given us like a hot take?
Yeah, this one right here. The Jets should bench Zach Wilson. Hot take.
Hold on. I think I see the problem.
Change it to cold takes.
I fixed it for us.
Thanks.
Zach Wilson is awful. The problem is I feel like
they don't want
to get another quarterback because they have Aaron Rodgers, so they don't want to be paying.
They got like Drew Lock or someone. Oh no, they got Seaman. Didn't they pick up Seaman?
I think they did.
Because earlier this season, they were like, we have picked up an A-list
veteran QB, and I was like, who is it?
Who's coming out of retirement? They're like, Trevor Siemian. I was like, they haven't even used him. They kept using Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take at all. They should bench Zach Wilson. The problem is they don't really have anyone else to put in.
They should just from now on, they should the second they get on offense, they should just punt it. Just let their defense do
Let
it.
their defense get like interceptions for pick six and fumble
When
recoveries
they
and
when they get on
returns.
offense, they should just kneel it like 3 times so their defense has a chance to like catch their breath and like relax for a little bit and then just punt it.
I love that running isn't even an option. Like we just cut out the entire offense.
Just to see what that would do. 1 week, this week against the Bills, that's what they should do and just see what happens.
Well, they'll probably do whatever they did week 1 against the Bills, if I had to guess.
I forgot that that's an option. Is Thursday's game a must-win for the Bengals, especially if they want to win their division?
Yeah, because I mean it's a division game, and I believe the Ravens have 2 wins over the Bengals.
Ravens are 7-3. Bengals are 5-4. Oh yeah, because the Bengals were. That's actually crazy. So remember, because it was Steelers, Browns, Bengals were all getting wins and keeping in line, but because the Bengals lost and the Browns beat the Ravens, Browns and Steelers continued moving up, and the Bengals stalled at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a huge must-win. I mean, even if you take out the whole division side of things, and just is this just a must-win for the Bengals in general? I think it is. I don't think they can let their momentum go back to what it was to start the season. They had a great few games there where they were winning and starting to get a good look at playoffs. They can't get back in their slump. I mean, they are 5-4 right now, with a lot of teams being like 7-6 win teams in the AFC.
Yeah, they have
and then
the Bills, they have the Chiefs, they have the Ravens. Like they have a lot of teams that they're like, well, they have.
They
like,
can't get behind. Like they have to.
I mean, every game is a must-win if you think about it, but
especially this late in the season.
There is a point where it's like, no, this is a must-win, because if they don't win, then they're just done. Like the Bears, no game is a must-win because we're just done. But
the first game of the season is, because that sets the pace.
Yeah, the first like 5 are must-wins, and if we're not doing good, then it's just over.
Yeah, it's a big game, and I'm excited that's a Thursday game because everyone's gonna be watching. But all right, 49ers beat the Jags. Got Chase Young now. Are the 49ers ready for a Super Bowl this season?
I thought they were ready for a Super Bowl. I thought they were ready until they lost like 9 games in a row, and then I was like, maybe they're not ready, and then they proved me wrong. So I think I picked the Jags. So F me, but yeah, I feel like 49ers are Super Bowl ready. I feel like they had a little, misstep, and now I feel like they're just back to where they were.
Yeah, I think they're back to dominating teams again. Super depressed because Christian McCaffrey didn't get a touchdown. This is the first game all season he hasn't gotten a touchdown. He's tied for the record for games in a row of scoring or whatever it is. Like he's tied, and they're on like
16 or something.
They're on like the 10 or something. They're in the red zone, and they gave it to the fullback, and he ran it in for a touchdown. And the announcers were like, one of the announcers used to be his fullback. I don't remember who it was, but he used to be a fullback. And he was like, nah, if he was a real fullback, he would have gone down on the 1, so Christian McCaffrey could have ran it in for a touchdown, because us fullbacks were only there to help the running backs. So kind of heartbreaking, but yeah, I think the 49ers, I don't know if it's the Chase Young acquisition that did it, if it's just they beat the Jags, or if they just figured it out. But
one of the NFL app updates that I get every time there's a game was like Chase Young and who's the other one on the end?
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa was like Chase Young and Nick Bosa sandwiched Trevor Lawrence and made him fumble it.
Yeah,
okay. Tune in now to watch. And I was like, that was the
Chase Young was the. That's crazy. So yeah, I think the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl. We're calling it, along with everyone else.
Ravens.
Yeah. Because have you seen the stuff about like the Super Bowl logo? They released it and the colors.
Oh yeah.
So everyone's like 49ers Ravens. Those are the colors.
I also saw Chiefs Vikings.
So one of those two. All right.
We should put money on them.
Can the Browns win the AFC North? They just defeated the Ravens. They're currently 6-3. Ravens 7-3. They're on a 2-game win streak. Do we think they have enough left to take it from the Ravens?
No.
It's a hot take. I don't know. The Browns just keep surprising, dude. I mean, like they've got like a decent offense, and they'll win the games they're not supposed to win, and then lose the games that should have been a shutout. So I don't.
I think they're too up and down. I don't.
Yeah, I don't see them taking the AFC North, especially from like the Ravens, but they can definitely keep the Bengals from getting it.
Yeah.
All right, and then last hot take we got here: are the Vikings going to win the Super Bowl? Is Josh Dobbs going to take the Vikings all the way?
I did just say that they were going to do the Super Bowl.
Do we think Josh Dobbs is going to get Kirk
I think
Cousins
Josh
his
Dobbs
first
is
ring?
really good, and I think it's just BS that that dude picked him up on fantasy right when I wanted to pick him up because I should have had first pick. My Vikings QB went out. I went to pick up the second Vikings QB. I should have got first pick. I think it's BS. I think Josh Dobbs is a great QB though. So yeah, I feel like, and plus like they started off terrible record. They're like what 1-4 or something. Now they're 6-4.
Yeah, they're
On a 5-win streak. It's the largest streak. I do remember just reading that. So
yeah, they're gonna give the Lions a run for their money. That's crazy, dude. Sweet. So as always, feel free to drop some hot takes for us, and we'll discuss them. But
you want to hear something crazy that I've been trying to find this whole time?
yeah,
So the 49ers, I told you that the Chase Young thing I got an update for.
Mhm.
He had half a sack, which was the one that I talked about. Had one, what's TOT? Just like tackle, like total tackle or something.
maybe yeah.
He had one, and then he had 2 QB hits. That's all
That's
his
it.
stats were.
What's his pressure though?
0.
Okay.
But Nick Bosa had 3 TOT, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 2 QB hits.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's because Trevor Lawrence was looking over at Chase Young the whole time, worried, and then Nick Bosa
Chase Young was the 3rd lowest guy on their
that's crazy.
defensive chart.
That's the thing though. When you have 2 stud ends like that, they're going to be trying to lock down one, and then the other one's going to put up numbers.
Tight ends, huh?
Yeah. Huh? I said 2 stud ends like that.
I'm pretty sure you said stud tight ends.
Well, we'll hear it in the recording. So I've got evidence this time.